So welcome everybody to our today's webinar. So thank you for joining us today. My name is Udo Schneider and I'm the Sales Director of Mirasys. So today I'm presenting the Customer-Centric Facility Management. So it's not really a, let's say, technology or technical webinar today. So it's more about the thoughts and ideas, some inspiration about how we can improve the customer experience in using Mirasys or the VMS in residential areas or offices or campuses or wherever. So I'm very keen and glad if we can discuss this afterwards together with you. So if you have your own thoughts, if we can enrich this discussion afterwards. So you're very welcome to discuss with us, with our sales team together, if you have any additional ideas. Just a little housekeeping before we starting. So if you have any questions or any comments, please put them into the question and answer box in your application so that we can answer them at the end of this meeting or at the end of this webinar. Or if I cannot answer them right now, so I would like to answer them via email. So it's very important that you put also your email address into this box and that you're not writing it anonymously so that I can come back to you later on. So when you are frequently visitor of our webinars, you know that I'm starting in the beginning with some thoughts about Mirasys, some words about Mirasys, who we are, what we are doing. So if you're knowing us anyway, so it's now time to get a cup of coffee or to go to toilet or whatever you want to do. And then after, let's say, 2 minutes, I'm going into the webinar itself. Okay, so today's agenda is very easy. We have some thoughts about Mirasys, some words, who we are, what we are doing, and then we drill down into this webinar, into the theme. So we have some general thoughts here. So why we have created this webinar today. Then we will talk about active prevention in residential areas. We will talk about parking area, house management, some ideas, some tips, what we can do there, how we can enrich the customer experience. Then we have also some ideas for the entrance management today, some for remote control for the residents, for the residents themselves. And at the end, we need also to talk about privacy, because especially in residential areas or also in multi-office buildings, in campuses, the privacy is a very high-rated topic that we need to talk about. So let's have some words about Mirasys in the beginning. So who we are. Yeah, we're a company, VMS software company that is based in Finland, so not anymore in Helsinki right now. So we are in Espoo, which is very close to Helsinki, and we are located there in the technology campus, very close to the university, so that we have a very close contact to other technology companies, to startups, etc., etc. So we are more than 24 years right now in the business with our VMS, and we have an open architecture platform. That means we try to look to the right and to the left, what could enrich our VMS, and we try to implement it if it is worth to do. So open platform does mean also that we're very open to other vendors, to other technology providers, to interconnect with them in a very easy and sophisticated way. So we are feeling very well with all kinds of vertical markets or market niches. Financial institutes, these were the first customers that we had. So we are very, very professional in that. City surveillance, military installations, especially in the Nordics and also in Eastern Europe. We have a lot of military installations right now. Education, so campuses here, schools, retail market, ports, airports, governmental installations, and even also sports stadiums are belonging to our customers. So in total, we have more than 70,000 customers with more than 1 million connected cameras in more than 40 countries worldwide. So we are a global company, as said, and we are making indirect business in most of the cases. That means we are using our partners, resellers, system integrators, system houses, distributors to provide our software and also provide our the support, the best of breed support in that case. Okay. I said that we are an open platform. That means we have a good ecosystem, build up a good ecosystem in our VMS that is combining different data together or is interconnecting to third parties. You see, for example, here command and control, PSIM solutions, only some wood, some companies here, there are much more. So Advances, for example, in building management company in Germany, very good company and very good software that they have. So we are integrated into their solution that they can receive the videos, that they can manage our video recordings, live videos, etc. But we have also interconnections to facial recognition, to VCA, for example, to other technology providers like access control systems. So how we are doing this? So we have a very sophisticated tool that is called data channel exchange or data channel receiving, which can receive standard information from third parties via TCP/IP interface or via an RS interface, and then with an easy XML or XSD validation, we can validate this data, what the data are, what we want to read out of this. So this is something that we are calling the simplest integration that you can have in the market. So it's cost effective and it is fastly done if you have somebody who is really very professional in XML formatting, in XML file writing, so you can do this by yourself as well. Open platform does also mean that we are connecting to more than 8,000 cameras right now with native drivers. So the main companies in the market, camera manufacturers in the market, are implemented with native drivers, sometimes with extra features if their SDK is allowing us this. And then all the rest of the camera manufacturers which are not implemented with native drivers are implemented with our very broadband ONVIF driver. So we are supporting the ONVIF protocols, and we are also enriching this with more and more ONVIF functionalities if they are supported. There are a couple of other cameras outside in the market which are not speaking ONVIF, or web cameras, body cameras, or whatever. So everything that can transmit a video stream via RTSP or via web browser or whatever can be connected with our system, can be recorded, and is handled as a camera. Even a simple PC monitor can be recorded. Yes, some additional highlights about our VMS, these are information that are coming from our customers, and that's the reason why we are making business with them. So our installation is very quick and easy. So within 5 minutes, normally you have installed the VMS and have a pre-configured system there. So if you're buying hardware from us, a very good enterprise hardware, then the systems are coming automatically with a pre-configured and pre-installed VMS software on board. It's very modular, so that means you're buying only what you want. So per camera, the licensing is per camera. That's very easy and very simple. The connectivities in between the system are very efficient and very smooth. So we have a lot of capabilities to decrease the bandwidth between the cameras and the servers, between the servers and the clients, the user interfaces, to that level that you need or that level that is required. So it is not always necessary to stream the whole stream from the camera to the client. So we have also here some tools that enables you really to squeeze down your bandwidth if necessary. Scalability is also a very important item today. So our software starts with one camera for one user only. And it can be expanded with multiple cameras, thousands of cameras in hundreds of recorders with thousands of users. So there is no limit from that point of software. The limitation is more on the hardware side, so we can also scale this here. We're using virtual machines, we are using multiple recorders in that way. So everything that an IT guy is familiar with, we are supporting. Yeah, and what will be the outlook at the end for the future? So this is also very important for us. So we think that we're moving into different directions, or we have different topics that we want to push into the future. So metadata is very important. We have our own VCA on board, sure. We have also artificial intelligence that we are working with and pushing into the market, sure. But more and more the cameras also having artificial intelligence on board in a certain way, also video content analysis. And we try to cooperate with those camera manufacturers to get their metadata on board and to act with them, to interact with them. So this is one of the most important items, that we have to use IoT devices, any hardware that is in the market and can send metadata to us to use it and to enrich the video footage. Artificial intelligence is something that is very important today and is becoming more and more important. We think that it is the most and the fastest growing market for the next couple of years, to understand, instead of VCA, which is very restricted in that way, but very sophisticated as well, certain behavior out of a lot of behaviors that are in the video footage. So for example, if somebody's kneeling down or slipping down, falling down, is running fast, is wearing a mask, to create rules of this so that the system is trained on a certain behavior to recognize and is learning case by case that is happening, that it is the right case or it's the false case. So for us, this is a very sophisticated tool, and there are a lot of companies outside right now who are concentrating on artificial intelligence. We do it as well, and we have the first projects also here that we are running right now. Deep learning is also something, especially in the VCA, in the standard VCA, to have also self-learning systems that do not need to be configured anymore, or do not need to be calibrated anymore. So to also understand more out of the video footage here. So this is also something. And then at the end, for the future, cloud-based solution. And I mean real cloud-based solution, not to put a VMS into, let's say, a data center and offer this standard software as a service. We are talking about microservices, distributed services. We are talking about buying or paying only for that what you need, having it really in the cloud, in a let's say private cloud, or in a public cloud, wherever you want, so that our partners can build services around this cloud-based solution. This is something that is driving us right now in the next couple of years, and we are pretty sure that there will be more infos and more news about that in the next couple of months for you. Okay, so hope everybody is back, have taken his coffee. So we are starting right now with the topic today. So the customer-centric facility management. So as I said, this is not talking about technologies, talking about technical environments. It's more about sharing with you my or our thoughts, what could enrich the standard installation in, for example, a residential area or in a campus with more and more features, so that it is concentrating on the customer, on the resident, on the guests in the campus, on the employees that are working in the offices. So to enrich their feeling or their life with enhanced features. So the general thought why we are doing this is, today when we are fitting a residential area with security systems, so we have maybe a video management system here. I hope it is starting. Yeah, a video surveillance system, which is their own system. Then we have maybe also an access control there. intrusion control for sure, fire alarming system there, fire prevention system. And if you are lucky and the customer has enough money, he has also billing management, like from like the one I mentioned before, from Advances or some other vendor. Does not matter right now. So in most of the cases, the billing management system, if you're lucky and you have one, are communicating to those systems anyway. More or less. If you don't have, then most of the cases you have systems that are like an island in your environment, in your security environment. And then today, the experience for the customer is more and more important. So you may invest also in smart home solution. You have maybe house TV for a big area, and you have, for example, also a concierge service or porter service or whatever kind of service, what kind of service you have that the customer or your customer is providing to his end customers. So my thoughts in that way is, why not using such an enriched video surveillance system that like we have, with its features, with its capabilities, to interact much more and much deeper with all these systems from the technology point of view, and give the resident, the employee or whoever, a better experience with the security system that he can also use in his daily life. So we have a capability in our video surveillance system which is used in most of the cases by 5%, maybe 10%. 90% are available but are not used. So, and I'm talking here about, for example, artificial intelligence. I'm talking about video content analysis. In most of the cases, customers are very careful to touch it. Oh, it's so expensive and it does not bring that much. I don't see the value. We have enough values in this to save money, for example, to make it easier for guards to control a big area with less with less people, with less guards, for example, and ease up their life as well. But we have also capabilities for streaming, for example, information, videos to a house TV system to be implemented into this, or stream via mobile apps to the residents themselves, so that they can control at the end from when they are at work, for example, or when they are shopping, what is happening at home. We can implement webcams, for example, so to show what is the weather today. And we have also this so-called data channel, as I mentioned before, which can integrate or receive information also from a smart home system or information from a concierge service if they have. Then we have also browser-based solutions, for example, on HTML5. So it is working with every browser, or nearly every browser, let's say in that way, which is supporting HTML5 to send information or to allow access, a very simplified access for the concierge or for the residence itself. So, and then we have SDKs and APIs, so very enriched SDKs and APIs to write own apps, for example, to be implemented into the smart home application, to be implemented into third parties, or to write your own front ends for the residents, for example, so that they can really have also access to video surveillance. So these were the thoughts when I was thinking about how to enrich the customer experience. So we have a lot of capabilities that we are not using, and we can give the customer and the residents much more sophisticated solution than they think and than we think. So I know the daily business sometimes is a little bit difficult. It's different. You are under price pressure. You need to have a return on invest. But with these capabilities, you can define a return on invest which can increase your revenues and can help the customer at the end. Okay, let's go through some thoughts. So active prevention is one of the major topics. So normally you have your video surveillance systems are guards sitting on the monitors and doing surveillance. So what's about the parameters? So today we have not only video content analysis as you see it here, so creating zones and rules and tripwires, etc., and understanding if somebody is entering there or staying there for a certain time. Artificial models can do much more. So they can understand if somebody is, for example, entering with a mask or with a helmet on his head. Yeah. So if somebody is speeding there, or if somebody has a very weird behavior that is abnormal in that area. Yeah. So if somebody is putting something here in this disposal area, for example, next to the disposal bins, yeah, so you can detect that, for example, some packages are here where where they should not stay, or is blocking some entrances or something like that. We have also some GDPR rules which are not allowing us today to look outside our area. Yeah, so to pre-alarm if somebody is entering or coming nearer to this area, to the fence or to the wall. So we can use radar detectors, for example, or long-range infrared detectors for them, and we are not touching our GDPR conformity. Multiple sensors on the fences can be implemented, and we can also use our VMS, for example, to collect this data and to have a multi-level detection, create multi-level detection rules. So pre-alarm configuring, so the system is popping up a screen and showing a video, is moving a PTZ camera. And then if somebody is really at the fence and he's staying there for a while, or is leaving something there like a bomb or package or something like that, create with artificial models an alarm. Or he's climbing over the fence, you know before he's climbing over the fence that he's coming nearer. So a lot of capabilities that we are not using today. At the main entrance, so we are using today super door intercoms including cameras. I see it very often that they are not implemented into our VMS so that we can record this information, and also using this information to show it to the resident then afterwards. We can have additional views. Why not installing 2 additional cameras which give the resident an understanding of the real situation at the entrance? Sometimes it might be that you see only 1 guy at the camera, but 3 are standing behind him and you do not know them. Or somebody wants to enter when he's your visitor, but somebody else is entering. You can see this if we implement additional VMS camera into the, let's say, user interface that he's using, for example, at the door entrance front end. Yeah. You can implement panic buttons, for example. You've seen that this is a guy who is very aggressive. So push a panic button and alarming the guard. And then we have also this multi-sensor access granting, for example, if you have guests, for example, you can also use additional models to grant access to the area itself for your visitors and to keep them away who are not allowed to enter. So if you have a guard sitting at the entrance, sometimes he's saying, okay, maybe, and this is human being, yeah. So he's saying, okay, I know you have been here, pretty sure, so go. And you don't want to see him. He's not asking you. So before that you want to see him. So in that case, we have also the capabilities really to hand over the access control more and more to the residents. And then at the end, also vandalism is also very important. So artificial models today can help us much more than video content analysis to understand that somebody is spraying there some colors, yeah, or is doing some damages at the post boxes or something like that. So with artificial models, which are trained then and they learn and afterwards the correctness or the accuracy, you have much more capabilities today. Disposal areas, I mentioned it before, and main entrance as well. So active prevention is something that is up the life of your residents. It is up the life or the work of your guards, your concierge service, your porter service, or whatever you have, so that you can more interact, that you can really automate your system in a much better way. So try it out. So in some cases, the payments or the investment that you have in this is giving you a fantastic return on invest. You pay more, but you get it better back. Yeah, so it's really worth to talk about this with your customers, with your partners. Next step, parking areas, house management. So we have tools that gives you, for example, keyless access for your parking area. So we have number plate recognition cameras, but we see very often that you have number plate recognition cameras, you can recognize number plates, and what then? So black-white listing, guest listing, for example, is very important so that you can control the barrier via the automated number plate recognition. So we have a list management application that enables you to do this really in a sophisticated way. That, for example, the portier or the concierge can also put in guest number plates that you are that you reserve or reserve a parking lot for him. And then you can use, for example, a monitor at the entrance that is telling the guest, please park, welcome Mr. So-and-so, please park on parking lot number 5. We have also today for entrances, for doors, modern locks that are using Bluetooth connectivity. So they can be connected to a video management system to see if somebody is trying to enter your home, your flat, and is trying to cheating you. So you have real control about what is happening if somebody is using his Bluetooth connectivity of his mobile phone to try to enter some flats and to open some locks in that way. So much more possibilities. And all this is reducing costs in management and administration. So you do not need to have a porter who is watching to the video and is looking, is this number plate staying in my list or something like that. As I mentioned, you have flexible access for guests. So residents, for example, can pre-register or register guests and their cars via web-based tool. So they can say, okay, tomorrow Mr. or my friend is coming in for dinner, so I need this car. So please allow him to reserve one parking lot and allow him to enter. And maybe also the concierge service at the entrance can welcome him personally. So a much better experience than to search for a parking lot outside somewhere and then to go and ring the doorbell. Yeah. It could be also an efficient usage of the available parking lots, for example. Maybe you have 10 parking lots for your guests, yeah, and you know that's normally not enough. So, but you can manage them. So you can manage them between the requirements. Or you have an office area, multiple office area on campus or in technology park, where you have maybe 1,000 parking sites or parking lots, but you have 1,100 parking requests, but they're not coming every day. So maybe they're working in the home office. So you can manage much better and much flexible your parking lots, your rented lots in that case. And only the real usage of parking lots is built then in that way. So it's also a decreasing payment or decreasing costs for the residentials or for the employees. Yeah, and then at the end, nothing about safety or nothing more than safety. So even also to enter the area with your car, for example, or your personal entering, you can use the number plate recognition, for example, by recognized by the camera, so you're recognized, and then you can have a second step, for example, that the driver needs to do a ghost call to a certain number by his mobile phone. And if both are matching, then it is opening a gate. Or you're using two-factor authentication or whatever. So everything is possible in that way, and it gives you much more flexibility. It gives you much more security in that way that you really know the driver is the owner of the car and it's not a stolen car and somebody is really entering because he knows that he is living there. Okay, what's about the entrance management at the end? So combination, as I mentioned before, combination of camera view and door intercom camera can really expand the situation control that you have for an entrance. So, for example, if somebody is staying here in front of this camera and is knocking on your door and said, I want to talk about a new insurance with you, and then the second guy is staying there and the third guy is staying there and they want they are robbers, for example. You're saying, okay, I need a new insurance, so please, you open the gate and you do not see that 3 guys are entering. And then they're standing in front of the flat door. So this is a very critical situation. Pushing the panic button is one side of the medal, but you're maybe so nervous and so in panic that you're not doing this. So this is a very critical situation. With a video management system, you can combine all 3 cameras, for example, or 2 cameras, one here, and the door intercom camera to one solution, and can show it maybe on a panel, on a display panel at the door, at the flat door for your resident, so that he's understanding, okay, he's only one, so it's okay to let him enter. So this is a very important message. And also you can, for example, also transmit this information to a residential TV channel, that everybody is seeing what is happening here and what is happening here in the outdoor environment. Interesting is maybe also this transmission for the sport area, the fitness center, if you have somewhere, or a swimming pool there, so to understand, okay, is the swimming pool crowded actually, or is the sport area crowded, or is there some free space that I can go to do sporting? So if you're living in the 4th level and you need to go down into the cellar for the sports center, and then you understand the sports center is completely occupied by your neighbors, that makes you not happy. So in that case, you can watch to the TV, to the area TV or to the residential TV, and see, okay, this is not crowded, so let's move. Okay, remote transmission to smartphone. This is something that is standard today, but not everybody is using it. So in that case, also you can transmit the information when somebody is ringing at the doorbell to your smartphone, and you can receive this information and can talk to him maybe, or you can see the recording that he was there, and maybe the door intercom is telling me, okay, you're not at home, so please leave a message. So you can see who has been there or who is there. If it is, for example, an craftsman who wants to install a new washing machine, you can open the door for him, and you also can open the flat door for him, so that he can enter and bringing the washing machine if you are not there. So a lot of capabilities that you have here. Smart remote control. So today the requirements for end customers, for residentials, are really that they're working with their smartphone or with their tablet. So integration into, let's say, a smart home system with their apps is very important. With our APIs, with our SDKs, you can do this. So you have direct remote communication with visitors. So you have also maybe babysitter phone modus or babysitter modus. So you see what is happening in my flat if you have a camera there. Yeah. So you have maybe also room surveillance. You're using our system. This is depending on this residential requirements. If they have video surveillance in their own home, yeah, they can understand what's happening there actually. Is my boy really doing his schoolwork? Yeah, and for example, in alarming, in case of motion detection, if nobody is at home and you switched on the alarming. And then integration. So as I said, smart home is very important today, and why not to integrate the video management system into smart home, and so have a complete integrated system which is controlling lights, electric blends, heating system, air conditioning, everything under one control. So a very rich experience for your residents, and you can provide this to them, really. Yeah, at the end, privacy is the most important topic. So we need to control, and modern VMS is really doing this, the access to recordings and cameras, even if we have one single system which is spread out to multi-tenants when a lot of residents are using this. So nobody should see what is happening in the other flat of my neighbor. Nobody maybe should see who is coming to visit my neighbor, really. So the access to the cameras needs to be controlled with maybe dual passwords, yeah, in very critical environments, with two-factor authentication using an authenticator app or authentication app on my smartphone, yeah. It must really a customer-focused camera assignment. So the customer must see those cameras he needs to see, and all the rest he is not able to see. privacy does mean also that I have an audit protocol of every access, every action that is done in our systems. Who has seen what camera? Who has seen what recordings? Who had logged in? Who has ring the door? Who has pushed the panic button? Etc. 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 And at the end, privacy does also mean if you have, for example, public cameras today, even in a residential area, using facial blurring or moving object shading to keep the privacy of those who are moving in the park or in the green area of staying there, sitting there. We spoke about the sports center, for example, to blur all the faces that you see. Okay, it's crowded, but you do not see who is there. Very important today that the customer is seeing he is secured in that area and he sees only that what he needs to see and nobody else is seeing that. And then at the end, it's also important to fulfill this individual requirements of each resident or each in office area of each office renter. So reaction on individual demands is very important. If you have this babysitter option, for example, if you don't need, that's okay. It must be fit, or it must fit into private flats as well as in chancelleries for legal entities, etc. Ambulances into offices. So in most of the cases, or in more and more cases, residential areas are mixed areas. You have also supermarkets there. You have maybe also a doctor there with his praxis, with his practice rooms. We have ambulances there. You have more services there, cleaning services, etc., etc. And they also need video surveillance, but in a different way than a resident is using it. And it is also important that you adapt and expand this existing installation at any time. So if somebody is saying, I don't need it anymore, great, you deinstall it. If somebody says, I need more installation, I need the babysitter phone, you can install it. You can expand the system by really saving money. It must be cost effective, otherwise it does not work for you and for the residents. All right, so that were my thoughts about this. So I'm very keen if you are coming back with your feedback, maybe also afterwards, to sales@mirasys.com, or you give me a call if you know my number. So to exchange with you some ideas, some thoughts, being creative with you, with your sales guy, Mirasys sales guy, and think about how you can, first of all, beat the competition that you have, and on the other side, fulfill the requirements of your customers in a much better way. Or at the end, honestly, that's the best way to sell, to tell your customer what you see, what he could do better. Because everybody is folded in his personal view, and this view is related on his daily business. If you can tell the customer, I could do this for you, and you have a better, let's say, experience for your residents, or you make the life of your guard easier. You don't need 10 guards, you just need 2, and you reduce the costs. Then I'm pretty sure that your end customer welcomes you much more than you just sell cameras. And that's a very important message I wanted to give to you. I'm very keen to discuss this with you. But now we are coming to the Q&A session. I'm checking here right now if there are any questions. Yeah, there's one question coming from Anonymous. Is how to convince the customer to do this, because most of the cases money plays the role. Yeah, that's true. The best way is really on a return on invest. If you have these arguments, it is, let's say in that way, it's very tricky. Normally, when I'm going to customer, I try to be open-minded and try to see with open eyes what they are doing and to understand where they have hints, where they have problems, where they have issues that they are not seeing. And I go back to customer and tell them, okay, customer, I can do this and this for you. But then it's also important if you're talking about costs and investment that you give them an idea, okay, but the benefit is this and this and this. This is important. This is the most important stuff that you need to tell the customer, the most important argument. But then, because then you can give them an idea what would be the return on invest. If you tell them, okay, you can sell this as a service to the residents because we see that the residents are requiring this, and this gives a much better life for the residents. Then he can understand, okay, I can get more money out of this. If you can tell him, okay, you just need one guard in the night, not 2 or 3 or 4. Then he is calculating, okay, one guard is costing me. And then he's going back and saying, okay, then it's worth to invest. As I said, important is that the important message is really with our VMS and with all these third-party solutions that you have a lot of features, you have a lot of possibilities that you are not using. You paid for them, but you're not using them. So think about that. What could enrich the customer success? What could ease up customers' life? And then talk to them and give them an idea. And I'm pretty sure we can make it happen. Maybe he's not saying yes to everything, but if he's saying to 2 or 3 items, if he's agreeing to 2 or 3 items, then it is good for your revenue and it's good for the end customer because he's thinking, okay, this guy, this system integrator, this system house, he is understanding what I'm doing and he's giving me the best of breed practice or the best of breed solution that I need. Okay, any other questions? Okay, there's another question coming. Do you have abilities to create temporarily long license for your partners to allow us to test and show such solution to our customers? Yes, we have. So first of all, to test the VMS, the video management system, we have 30 days license for this. You can download the VMS from our homepage. There is a template to fill in your information, so your name and your company and address, etc., etc. And then you can download the system and you can use it with one camera. If you want to test the whole solution, means also VCA, for example, then you need to ask us, then contact sales@mirasys.com and you're getting a license. So we just need a MAC address for this. If you want to test also the other capabilities, let's say like the SDKs or APIs, then we are going that way, that you're also getting this licensing, but we need to sign an NDA that you're not using it for any curious things or you expand it to our competition. So it's just signing the NDA and then you are getting the SDKs or the API that you really need. Then we have maybe also a chat, what you really want to do, what you really want to test. But we have also a good documentation that you can read, first of all, if it is really usable for you. So important is to tell us, what do you want to do with the SDKs, and then we are coming back to you and tell you what SDKs you need. So that's the best way, because we have a lot of experience, and in some cases it requires experience to do this. But feel free to test it. So it's a 30 days trial, so we can expand it. And also if you want to show this to your customer, we can do this as well, no problem. So, okay, any other questions? Artificial intelligence, is it ready-made? Artificial intelligence is a different story. So in that case, it always requires let's say a project, because artificial intelligence does mean that you need to train the system on a certain behavior, on existing video footages, and then you implement a model into a system, and detection model that is then learning by itself, but it needs to be trained. So it's a complete different story in that way, but it's really worth to do this because there are very interesting analytics right now, artificial analytic companies in the market who could do a lot, starting from crowding up to abnormal behavior. If somebody is starting to hit somebody, or if they are moving fast or whatever, or starting to damage your disposal area or whatever. A lot of things that can be done. Okay, there is another question. I want to write live demo in Office to show customer solution like Fire, VMS, and ACL. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this can be done. So let's talk about this, Max. I think that's important if we go into contact, and then we can discuss this and show the customer a demo for that. Okay, no problem. Okay, anything else? I'm checking also my other stuff. If somebody's asking me via WhatsApp or something like that, somebody is doing this sometimes. No, there's nothing. Okay, then at the end, I would like to thank you for this participation on this webinar. I hope you find it very interesting. I hope we have a lot of discussions. So I like this creativity. And I'm very keen to get your feedback. So, and at the end, I need to say thank you. And especially in this situation in that we are today, stay healthy and see you next time. So all the best. See you then. Bye-bye.